there's no place like home for the holidays. And no matter how far away you roam, if you pine for the sunshine of a friendly gaze, for the holidays you can.
Welcome back to another episode of Horror for the Holidays, a Christmas horror movie podcast. I'm Jay Logsden.
And I'm Jeff Searcy.
And Jeff, I don't know about you, but all I wanted for Valentine's Day was my two front teeth.
Indeed.
Didn't get them.
Nope. Definitely didn't.
But we'll bring you this week's movie. We'll deck the halls for 2007-ish is Two Front Teeth.
2006 was the first time it was seen in public. But yes, I believe the official release date is 2007.
I have release date October 31st, 2007. Yes. Although I've seen years 2005, 2006, and 2008 all listed in various places.
As far as I could tell, 2006 was the first time people actually got to watch this. But it's hard to tell with internet release movies, and it's hard to tell with a zero-budget horror movie like this, too.
Written and directed by Jamie Nash, who also has a story credit for WNUF Halloween Special. Also worked on VHS 2, the anthology movie there, and Satanic Hispanics, which is a thing that I've heard a lot of buzz about, but I've not seen.
I have heard of that as well.
But also, I was reading in Matt Dupay's Scary Little Christmas that he started working on this script when he was like 19 years old.
Wow.
And it took like 7 years to get to, kind of this finished point where like his original idea was just for a vampire Santa.
Okay.
And like he kind of wrote this idea but didn't know how to write a script, and so started fleshing stuff out over time, and so this was kind of a labor of love, certainly.
It felt like a labor of love type movie.
Also directed and edited by David Thomas Scrabulus. Which great. I hope I pronounced that name correctly, that last name correctly. Great name.
Indeed.
Johnny Francis Wolfe and Megan Pearson play our leads, Gabe and Noel Snow. And Michael Breacher plays Ed/Chief. Ed is also in Call Girl of Cthulhu, which, another connection to WNUF Halloween Special. That was another Chris LaMartina movie. Leanne Chamish appears in this as Gabe's mom, but we would also best know her for her role as Deborah Merritt in WNUF Halloween Special.
It's all coming together now.
Also appears in an episode of It also appears in Call Girl of Cthulhu.
We're going to have to check that out at some point.
I think we will. I think we'll have to do a stocking stuffer or a main episode on Call Girl of Cthulhu.
We should.
And if you check the additional crew, Chris LaMartina is listed. So this is I got a lot of WNUF vibes from this movie, and it turns out that was completely accurate, because this is...
Well, that's the very first thing I thought of during that opening animation, like the discount snowman from like Rudolph and everything.
Yep.
You could tell it was clearly modeled off that, but done like in a new stop motion style.
Two taglines. One is, "Forget milk and cookies. This Christmas he wants blood."
Good tagline.
And we've also got, "All I want for Christmas. ...
Yep.
Two front teeth."
Good. Both good. Solid.
Production company, Roast Beast LLC. Nothing really to say there other than just perfect name.
Yes. I got your Grinch reference.
The little production company logo is like a beast of some kind on like a stake, and gets burned alive.
Roast beast is a feast I can't stand in the least, Jay.
Filmed in Baltimore.
Scary.
Which one of the guy I didn't write it down. One of the actors in this movie is involved with like The Wire and stuff like that.
I was gonna say, if you've seen The Wire, filming in Baltimore is scary.
$200,000 budget. Hey listener, Editor J here. Just an FYI, $200,000 sounded like way too much money. I went and checked Matt Dupay's book, and this movie was like maybe $45,000. So that'll teach me to use IMDb in the future. Continue resuming listening to the episode as was. Thanks.
I saw varying estimates from like 100 to like 250,000. I'm guessing it's probably safe to assume it's probably in the middle there somewhere.
Yeah. That's the thing. I could even see it having been made for. Granted, it was the early 2000s, so 200,000 probably went a lot further. Mm-hmm. But like, I could honestly see this being made for less.
Yeah, I say you probably could have got away with $100,000. I'm guessing. But if it was made today, it'd probably be $1 million.
I mean, I'd like to see a lot of money dumped into a remake of this movie.
I mean, we need a sequel to this movie, but we'll get to that later.
No real personal experience for me. I had heard someone talk about this like a year ago on like Instagram. There's a couple accounts that like pop up with Christmas horror content, and I think the same thing happens on Twitter, and then they pivot to something else as the year goes on. But one of them had posted about Two Front Teeth, and I was like, oh, I gotta check that one out.
Yeah, my only experience with it was you saying, hey, let's watch Two Front Teeth.
The wheel said, hey, let's watch Two Front Teeth, and the wheel was correct.
Jay Logston subverts the wheel all the time. I don't know if I buy this.
Where to watch? Buy a DVD copy on YouTube. I think that's what I did.
Yes, it's also free
on YouTube on eBay.
It's free on YouTube if you want to watch it on there too.
But yeah, do that. Buy a copy. Yeah. Watch it on YouTube.
I would say watch it on YouTube, and then if you like it, buy a copy to support them.
I reached out to Mike Lombardo like right after we watched this, and I'm like, this movie, you need to see it if you haven't. Like mm-hmm. I was like Mike, you would appreciate this more than just about anyone else.
Yeah, that's true. I did get some Mike Lombardo vibes in this.
No, this was such a delight of a movie. We'll get into it.
Well, as I say, there's one specific thing that really made me think of I'm Dreaming of White Doomsday. See if Jay can guess it.
Oh man, I can't picture it off the top of my head. You'll have to point it out when we get there.
It has to do with why our main character is afraid of Christmas.
Oh yeah, nope. I get exactly what you're saying. Yeah, I did have the same thought at the time. We'll get there. We start with a static filled image of like a Rankin Bass special kind of stop motion animation Santa Claus, like Jeff mentioned, that slowly pans down to Noel and mall Santa named Kevin, getting hot and heavy, and something on the roof distracts her.
Come on, baby. Charlie Brown needs to kick a field goal.
Just this once. It's always something with you. First she's like, what was that? And he's like, sorry, I had too much eggnog. Before asking maybe that it's her husband coming home. So we know there's something going on. And then she's like, on the roof?
Exactly.
She sends the mall Santa downstairs to investigate. He looks around this festively decorated home. Yeah, there's garland and lights all down the stairwell, all down the banister. There's a Christmas tree. There's all sorts of stuff. He looks up at some mistletoe that's hanging on the ceiling, and then the camera pans back down to him, and a vampire elf jumps up behind him and bites him on the neck.
Yep.
Title card.
Bondage elves.
Two front teeth. We get a bunch of shots of the newspaper, The Xmas Files. But the main thing is a reoccurring thing about the tragedy of Flight 1225, but there's all sorts of like weekly world news style headlines.
Snowman exorcism. I want to find out more about what's going on with that Christmas porno snafu, Jay.
No, yeah, I was gonna ask, what's your favorite of the headlines?
But no, that and the demonic snowman exorcism.
There's one that like Santa has crabs.
Yeah.
Mrs. Claus porno shocker. Toy store riot. But like the kind of the recurring theme is like if it's not the headline, like buried somewhere on some of these images, is there's a thing about this Flight 1225 and the accident that was involved with that.
Yes, it's going to be a big part of the plot.
We are introduced to Gabe, who is sitting on a toilet typing on a typewriter. He kind of takes whatever he's typing out, puts it in in a red envelope, and puts it in his suit jacket pocket. As we are then introduced to Ed, the chief editor of the Xmas Files.
Oh, come on, Jay.
And he talks like this.
Not on Christmas. Not defiling your marital bed with a retail schmuck, Jay.
He wants to know, he's curious about Gabe's contact for the Flight 1225. He keeps kind of bringing it up, wanting to know who his contact is, wanting to know who his source is. And Gabe's like, I'm not going to give up my source. Gabe admits that he knows that Noelle is cheating on him.
He's not even trying to hide.
And he's getting ready to leave when an animatronic Santa paralyzes him with fear, and he passes out, maybe?
I guess. Yeah, that's the closest thing I could figure. And then we're back to Noelle.
So some kind of like time passes. And yeah, like I think Noelle gets jumped by the
Yes.
vampiric elf, and then suddenly we're just right back to like Gabe waking up, like wiping drool off his lip and like taking some pills.
Now, Jay is calling these vampire elves, but I want everybody to know that these are elves in like S&M style bondage
Yes,
gear.
they're also wearing bondage gear. They're vampiric BDSM elves. But yeah, when Gabe comes to, Ed gives him a gun and admits he went to Gabe's house. And then for whatever reason, we see that Ed's ear is missing.
Yep.
And like it's a real great like gory kind of effect, but it makes it we learn why like later, but it's very strange. Like how long was Gabe passed out for? Like,
hey, at least he can get his earmuffs for half price now, Jay.
Ed also mentions that someone might.
I think he's when he's talking about somebody might drop by. I think he's implying that the BDSM elves are gonna attack the house or whatever.
Oh no, I think he's No, yeah. Ed mentions that like someone might hear something, and I think we're supposed to think, oh, he's in league with the BDSM vampire elves, but in all actuality, he's it's something else entirely, and we'll get to that.
You don't need to know yet.
The vampire elves have nothing to do with his missing ear. At the house, like Noelle tries to talk to the mall Santa through the door, but she.
Jay logs in microphone malfunction, everyone.
Like we said, at the house, Noelle tries to talk to the mall Santa through the door, but finds a present, which is the severed head of the mall Santa before she gets jumped by the vampire elf.
The funniest part of it is it's riding around on the little Christmas train, and it's clearly a head in wrapping paper, and she picks it up like she doesn't know what it is.
Gabe and Ed arrive at his house, and Gabe's like, all right, I'll go in. Ed's giving him this gun, and they go to track this down, and Ed just speeds away in Gabe's car.
Yep, classic Ed.
Gabe goes inside and walks around the house. He finds like the gingerbread cookies in the oven have burned. As the fire alarm's going off, he gets scared by like an animatronic Christmas tree at his front door.
That was great.
Walks around the house and then finally finds Kevin the mall Santa's head on the Christmas train going around underneath the Christmas tree. And then goes and pukes in Noelle's stocking and turns around and Noelle's just like bound and gagged in a chair behind him.
There's no way he couldn't have seen her in the room. She's literally right there.
And she's like sitting there in her underwear.
That's my stocking, asshole.
And he sets her free, and they're kind of talking. They're talking both about like the guy that she was cheating on him with, but also maybe what happened, and like the thing is ransacking Gabe's office trying to find information. But like in between all this, still fighting about their marriage and the fact that Noelle's cheating on him with a retail schmuck.
A retail schmuck, Jay.
There's also a line where they go upstairs, they find the body of the mall Santa, and he's wearing Gabe's boxers that Noelle gave him for their first Christmas together, and she's like, well, you never wear them. And then he's like, but they're from our first Christmas together. And she's like, the same first Christmas you skipped to stalk the North Dakota snowman exorcist. And then Gabe's like, that was supposed to be the real deal. And then Noelle's like, so are you, Gabe.
Wow. Burn.
The elf has the keys to Kevin's car. Gabe kind of fights with it briefly while Noelle runs downstairs, gets a golf club, and like beats the shit out of it, but also hits Gabe with it.
Oh, I'm sure not on purpose at all, Jay.
And then they grab a gun and shoot it. And they go to leave the house, and there's some carolers outside, and they just like brandish their gun around and scare all the carolers off.
Well, the carolers get murdered, don't they? By the,
They do later,
the
yeah.
USM elves.
So they get in the getaway car and they bicker the whole time about everything, about their relationship and
Typical married couple stuff.
And then at one point, like, it seems like Gabe wants to say something, and then like Noelle kind of like speeds off the road. We cut back to the house and we see all the carolers torn apart and being eaten by the elf. Great gore effects on that. Noelle is at a payphone with the cops who just don't believe her that a Christmas elf attacked their house.
Sure, lady, sure.
When Ed arrives, holding a gun, holding a knife, he's brandishing a knife and kind of holds her at knife point, gets in the car, and starts to like threaten them, and then just gets maced immediately.
Yep. Ah, you maced me. You were right about her, Gabe. She's a total psycho.
She's a real bitch. And then she like makes him like stab himself in the leg with his own knife.
The best part of it was he's like, you were right, Gabe. She's a total psycho. And Gabe's like, well, it was in context.
And then she just like pushes him out of the speeding car.
Poor Ed.
At one point, Ed does mention that he needs to know, needs information, and wants to because of what they did to his ear, and how they want Gabe's source. And
I appreciate her reference too, because at one point she calls him Van Gogh.
Oh, I didn't even catch that. That's great. But yeah, there's this whole thing once again about Ed wanting to know the source. About the Flight 1225 thing. So Gabe and after Ed gets kicked out of the car,
I'm never gonna be able to wear my sunglasses again, Jay, or my headphones.
And then at least you'll be able to get earmuffs half price. They kick Ed out of the car and they speed off to Gabe's source.
Going to the source,
which we meet Peter, the cowboy,
the cool cowboy who's here for some reason.
He's holed up in a trailer park and doesn't really trust Gabe. He's very suspicious of the whole situation.
He's a trailer park cowboy. R.I.P. Toby Keith.
In the car, because Gabe goes up to talk to him alone because like he knows that this source is very very like suspicious of everybody.
Jittery. He's very obviously Jay, because of what he knows.
Yep. So while that's going on, Noelle finds that the thing Gabe was typing up was a divorce decree.
Yep.
Noelle then gets chased into Peter's trailer as he starts shooting at vampire elves that are coming through the door.
With his special bullets he was loading.
Yep, made with wood because they're stakes to take out vampires.
It would have been funnier if they were little, like ribeyes. Steaks.
They're able to kind of like barricade themselves in the house. This is very reminiscent of To Whom the Sleigh Bell Tolls episode of American Dad.
Yes, I believe we both did that.
And they're armed with Peter's guns, like a katana sword and a baseball bat for Gabe.
Well, and this is echoing something even funnier that's going to happen later in the movie.
As we prepare for a standoff, as Peter talks about how they want the nose, and we go to an animated scene of like Rudolph flying through the sky and getting hit by Flight 1225.
257 passengers, no survivors.
Peter was the first on the scene, and he put Rudolph out of his misery.
I found him there, but every bone in his body was broken.
And so Rudolph's head is mounted on his wall.
That's funny. He's like, I put him out of his misery, and then his head's just mounted on your wall.
And so the elves kind of attack. So some of the kills I want to highlight, Peter, Linnea Quigley's one of the elves on Rudolph's antlers.
Yes.
An elf bites Peter in the dick and he rips its head off and calls it a nutcracking son of a bitch. Gabe just absolutely like does not know how to fight these things. Is like Noelle's at least holding his own. Gabe like goes to hit one with his bat and breaks the bat on the ceiling.
Yep.
And so they just kind of like stabs it with the broken end of the bat.
Classic Gabe.
Peter eventually gets kind of taken out, like dragged out of the out of the trailer. So it's down to Gabe and Noelle, and they're, backed up against the wall, and they kind of hold hands and, and kind of admit that they still have feelings for each other. And Rudolph's nose starts to glow.
It makes all the BDSM elves lose their mind and flee.
Yep. And so they grab, and the nose falls into Gabe's hand, and they run off and get into the car, which was previously locked but is now unlocked.
It's unlocked now, Jay. The elves unlocked it. They were going to steal it. They didn't have time because of the nose.
So they drive away in the car, and they're kind of talking like, well, we made it out, and then they start hearing banging in the trunk.
Yep.
And Gabe's like, I didn't hear that.
Excellent.
And so like they pull over to investigate what's in the trunk, open the trunk lid after Gabe kind of waffles about doing the whole thing, and Peter pops out, and Noelle immediately shoots him in the shoulder. They then kind of talk, and they're like, how did they find us? How do they keep finding us? And Peter's like, well, I got one of theirs for information. He's got an elf's head in a bag.
Yep.
That like they interrogate. Noelle like beats the shit out of, and they try lighting on fire.
I know, that was hilarious. She starts beating it. It's like, fucking bitch.
And eventually it admits that there's a tracking device.
There's a tracking chip in the bitch's foot.
Yeah. Because they'd been at I think they maybe even imply they've been at Gabe's house multiple times, and she didn't recognize.
It's that the elf implies that they've been working with Ed, for like, it seems like a couple months almost. Definitely longer than we've seen in the movie.
So they pull over at
the Three Wise Men Motel, Jim.
Oh, I didn't catch that was the name of the motel. That's amazing. And they go to do an emergency foot surgery.
It's a footerectomy.
Oh, also there's a line where when it's like revealed that this is like a vampire Santa, Gabe's like, Xmas Files 217. Yes, Virginia, there is a vampire Santa Claus.
No, I love Peter's like little flashback narration of the origin of Clausferatu, where he's like, dresses in blood red, only comes out at night, uses unknown sorcery to enter billions of homes, not afraid of fire or cold.
But yeah, at the Three Wise Men Hotel, they basically get Noelle super drunk, and then Gabe's supposed to knock her out.
Knock me out, you pussy!
And like breaks the bottle over her head, doesn't work. Then breaks what's left of the bottle over her head, doesn't work. So Peter holds a pillow up and like muffles her screams as Gabe starts cutting into her foot, and blood just splatters all over his face.
God, it's hilarious. She's like, hit me, you pussy. He hits her with the bottle, and she's like, you hit me. I can't believe you. Yes, they get out the tracking chip, which is shaped like a gingerbread man. Or a ginger dead man.
No, not like that.
No, not like that at all.
And then Peter's like, all right, we need to go someplace where Christmas hasn't been in years. Mm-hmm. And Gabe's like, I know a place. And they go to his family home.
Oh, my God. Are you ready? Well, first we find out Noelle's dark Christmas secret. Which isn't really a dark Christmas secret, but still.
Her mom had cancer, and her dad was like a drunk. And so what her sister, I don't know if it's younger or older, had lost a tooth.
Her younger sister lost a tooth, and the tooth fairy gave her $50, which she's like, oh, my drunk ass dad must have put the wrong bill under there.
So she starts yanking out more of her sister's teeth, hoping to get
5 of her sister's teeth with pliers. And she's like, but the tooth fairy was on to my trick. I didn't get anything.
Son of a bitch.
I tried it 5 times, didn't get anything.
We get a scene where Santa finds the hotel room they were in with milk and cookies, and then a note that says they pissed in the milk.
Yeah, and that really pisses him off.
And then we get a scene, Ed back in the office of the Xmas Files. He tells someone he knows where they are, and then he gets dragged away by a gloved hand. And then we get Gabe's dark Christmas secret.
Oh my God!
Do you want to tell it, Jeff?
Yes. So little Gabe is in a cheery Christmas home, like the 1950s mom, dad, little sister, little boy, And he's going to make some Christmas cookies for the family, Jay. But instead of the sugar, he reaches for the rat poison instead.
That's in like the exact same bag.
Same bag and right next to each other. Then he makes a whole bunch of poison cookies for the family, and they all die, except for him.
Well, Gabe's sitting there distracted by a snow globe.
This is the part that gave me heavy Mike Lombardo vibes.
Yep. No, absolutely. Ed shows up after Gabe tells this story, and Gabe and Noelle are kind of trying to have a heart-to-heart with 3 ninja nuns who are known as the Silent Knights, trained Vatican assassins.
Excellent.
They want the nose so they can win the war on Christmas.
Wait a minute. Somebody call Bill O'Reilly.
They take Gabe and Noelle hostage, but Pete shows up to even the odds, and they have a Mexican standoff where I think I have the full quote for our quote section, but it's like, we got here a Mexican standoff. And then Noelle's like, Feliz Navidad.
The writing in this movie is amazing.
No, it's fantastic. Then Santa and the elves arrive, and we have an epic battle similar to that of the Battle of Five Armies from The Hobbit.
Yes, very similar.
I'd say even better than that.
I was gonna say, if you're talking about the movie version, this is better than that.
All right, I'm talking about the book version where Bilbo gets knocked out and misses the entire fight.
You still get to know about the fight.
Ed gets killed.
Let's face it, if Bilbo was in the fight, he would have died, Jay.
Ed gets killed accidentally by Noelle. Like, my finger slipped and she just shoots him in the face.
Exactly. That's what would have happened.
As both Pete and the Knights eventually get overpowered and defeated by the elves and Santa.
It's just too many of them.
We get this full image of this vampire Santa edited down to Gabe and Noelle when Rudolph's nose starts glowing again, and a non-vampire Santa appears out of the nose.
The real Santa.
Santa informs us that vampire Santa is named Clausferatu, which is North Polish for the Tooth Fairy.
A connection back to Noelle's story, Jay.
And they used Rudolph's nose to imprison him and take his place. The Tooth Fairy is the weakest of the immortals, but the biggest pain in the ass.
Indeed. Also explains the Flight 1225 incident because Rudolph was trying to escape and free Santa.
Yep. But he did get where he was trying to go because it's revealed that Pete is Santa's brother. What?
Yep. Cowboy Pete is Santa's brother.
And we'll get to why at the end of the movie. Santa and Clausferatu have this epic martial arts battle set to like a techno version of Carol of the Bells.
Yes, it's amazing.
Where at one point Clausferatu starts to get the upper hand. He's kind of working Santa over, and then Tiny Tim emerges from this crowd that's assembled to watch this epic showdown between two of the greatest holiday characters of all time, and tells Santa to kick Clausferatu's motherfucking ass. Santa duly obliges and punches Clausferatu's heart out of his chest and holds it in the sky victoriously.
Real Kali Ma situation.
Santa leaves, telling Gabe that he's on the nice list this year and that Noelle has a nice ass.
Got a good woman there, Gabe. Nice ass on her, too. See you later.
They go to head upstairs for some makeup sex, but the full moon in the sky transforms Peter into a were Easter bunny because it turns out Peter is Peter Cottontail. And they get ready to fight him as the credits roll.
And that's why we need a sequel to Two Front Teeth. And we'll call it Two More Front Teeth because the giant rabbit teeth, you know.
And then we get another animated clip during the credits of
the North Dakota Santa Snowman
of the
Satan
first Christmas.
Massacre.
And of the North Dakota exorcism, the whole time the Exorcist music is played, and it's just this delightful little scene.
No, the best part is he's splashing the holy water on the snowman, and it makes him melt a little bit, and then the eyes start to glow red, and the face gets mean, and the priest is like, oh, shit.
And then it just cuts away. All right, well, let's move into our closing stuff. Do you have anything before we move on?
Nope, I'm ready.
All right, where do you want to start?
This movie. We might as well start with the Christmas spirit, Jay.
Christmas spirit. How Christmassy is the movie? How Christmassy are the kills? Jeff?
I would say this is probably one of the Christmassiest movies we've ever seen.
Agreed.
It's got so many Christmas decorations. The kills are all basically Christmas themed, either because the people doing it are all Christmassy, or that just watching Santa beat up a vampire Santa who's actually the Tooth Fairy in a kung fu fight, Jay. I don't think we can get much more Christmassy than that.
Gabe gets stabbed with a giant candy cane.
Yes.
There's all these elves getting the shit beat out of them. That one elf gets Linnea Quigley.
Yeah, we have nun ninjas. Nuns are Christmassy. They're at Christmas.
I had certainly Silent Night Deadly Night 2 and Silent Night
Yes.
Deadly Night have nuns. To me, they're Christmassy.
Exactly. They feel very Christmassy.
But no, this is I don't know if this is the most Christmassy movie, but it's certainly up there. It's right up there with Letters to Satan Claus and Black Christmas 2006.
Oh, can you imagine if Mother Superior was a Silent Night, Jay, and they had to battle with Billy?
Oh, man. Hopefully the next year's, I guess this year's Silent Night Deadly Night comic features that.
That would be amazing.
A battle between
Ninja Nuns versus Billy.
Ninja Nun versus Billy. That would have put that movie over the top. But no, absolutely.
It's got to be I'd say in the top 3, definitely. Yeah, because Letters to Satan Claus is insanely Christmassy. The Black Christmas 2006 is decked out in Christmas all over.
The one thing, and it's the one thing that I think for me makes it a little lower is the lower budget. It's not as good, but it's still great. It's still fantastic.
No, they managed to pull it off, definitely.
I'm sure everyone brought their Christmas decorations from home.
There is no doubt in your mind what time of year it's supposed to be when you're watching this.
Kevin's car is literally decorated for Christmas. Both the hood and the trunk are wrapped in candy cane paper.
And
there's garland and
Christmas lights. But no, honestly, it's more Christmassy than a lot of bigger budget movies, which is a shame because it shows what you could do if you actually cared.
Yep. No, they did a fantastic job.
Also, snow, Jay. There's some snow.
Yep, there's some snow on the ground in a couple scenes. It looks cold outside.
Everybody looks cold. There's some snow around, which is, again, more than some people bother doing with these.
But Gabe and Noel's house, completely decked out for Christmas. Looks fantastic.
It's what you think of as a Christmas house.
I love some of those crunchy, that crunchy scene of the stairwell with the banister wrapped in the garland and the lights, and it's dark, so that gives you that real kind of Christmas feel.
Yes,
having the lights out in your house and just having the Christmas lights on.
Very atmospheric. I agree.
No, 10 out of 10 in both categories.
Indeed.
Do you want to do quotes? I think we're both itching to do quotes.
I'd say we've been saying them throughout this whole thing, so we might as well do some.
All right, let me pull mine up. For those who don't know, so I write a synopsis or kind of a general kind of script idea down while I'm watching the movie, while I'm rewatching the movie, but I don't have a space to do my quotes, so I take my quote notes on my phone.
Indeed, I do all my notes on my phone.
So we got, I've got this whole thing from Ed. I think you and I both talked about it. Noelle works retail, right? Even if she wanted to mess around, she's probably knee deep in holiday hell right now. Retail folk never get off on Christmas Eve. It's unheard of. It's anti-Christmas, unless she's banging some retail schmuck. Oh no, Gabe, please don't tell me your wife is doing the dirty tango with some retail schmuck in your sacred bed.
Yep. I had that whole thing as well.
Oh, so good. And then Noelle talking to Kevin, the mall Santa. Santa, do you want to come down my chimney?
Yep, which made absolutely no sense. I had from that exchange, come on, Charlie Brown wants to kick a field goal just this once.
And then he's like, it's always something with you. You're not in the mood. My hygiene's bad.
Your menstrual cycle. It's always something.
Another Noelle line. If this is some kind of joke, I swear you'll never touch me again. Not even with a 29.5-foot pole.
Yes. Another Grinch reference. I love it.
I don't remember what the whole context for it is, but at one point Gabe says, don't you marry my Christmas.
Yep. We got a lot of the same ones. The whole exchange we said earlier about Ed's ear being cut off with Noelle. He's like, I can't wear my headphones anymore. I'm never going to be able to wear my sunglasses. And she's like, at least you get your earmuffs half price.
Oh, Gabe, look what she's doing. The last one I have is Pete goes, it's a Mexican standoff. And Noel goes, well, Feliz Navidad. And then Ed says, looks like it's going to be a long winter's night. And then he gets shot in the face like immediately afterwards.
Oh. My final one was the one where I just put Clausferatu. That's the reveal of the name of the evil Santa.
No,
it's one of the most memorable things about the movie.
No, it's absolutely like that's a great moment because Santa does the whole thing where he's like Clausferatu, and then Gabe's like, oh, it's North Polish
for the tooth fairy.
Yeah. But just the reveal that his name is Clausferatu is just the most delightful thing.
It is. I love it. Oh, I also wanted to point out you shouldn't feel bad about watching the movie on YouTube because it's posted on Jamie Nash's YouTube channel.
Oh, perfect.
So anybody who feels bad about watching it on YouTube, don't feel bad.
No, yeah, do that. Yeah. Give this a watch. It's well worth your time.
This definitely deserves to be seen.
Moving on to Christmas wrapping costumes, scenery, gore effects, etc.
Costuming, I mean, it's good. I like the design of the bondage elves. I like the Santa suits. Both look good. Evil Santa and actual Santa.
Actual Santa clearly has a pillow under his...
Yes, that makes it even better, too. It's like I've seen people complaining about this movie all over the internet, and I'm like, clearly you don't get what this movie's supposed to be. It's like, this is like a labor of love movie that is like, telling you how much these people love Christmas horror. And it's like, these people don't get it at all.
No, like, so speaking of which, I saw someone like yesterday, people not getting Christmas horror. I saw someone yesterday complaining about Christmas Evil. Like, I don't know, it's not that good, like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, one, it's not a slasher. Like, are you even watching the right movie? Like,
well, and that's the thing. You got to wonder, some of these people have even seen the stuff they're reviewing.
But, no, Peter looks really cool.
No, yes, weird cowboy, also werewolf rabbit, looks pretty cool.
The one thing is the first time you see Clausferatu, it doesn't look intimidating, just looks very silly, but I love it.
It's perfect. It's all I could say.
The gore effects on Ed's missing ear are great. Yeah. Looks really gnarly.
For the budget on this movie, the gore effects are really good.
And the fact that they could make the rat poison bag look exactly the same as the sugar bag.
Oh my god, yes. Like you said, if Mike hasn't seen this, he needs to see it. But I liked I don't know if they did like puppetry or what they did to make the severed elf head talk when they interrogate it, but it was really good.
So my thought was that what they probably did is they probably have like a pillowcase that they cut both ends out of. And so when they're filming directly down in, the elf's just got its head like in the other hole of the pillowcase.
I was just wondering because it seems like the jaw and stuff is moving in like a way like it's not a mask or whatever, so I wasn't sure.
No, it's very kind of like sped up. Like some of the I think it's kind of a trick of, the low budget camera or whatever. But there's some stuff that like looks slowed up and there's some stuff that looks really slowed down.
It looked really good though. It was convincing that it was like a severed head.
Yep. But no, I had fantastic.
I mean, even like Gabe's Christmas flashback, the parents, like the cozy fire and everybody dressed for Christmas or whatever. It looked really good.
No, it's all black and white tinted. It looks great.
The soft focus too, like it's a happy memory until he grabs the bag of rat poison,
and then he's just sitting there shaking this snow globe, having the time of his life, as his sister, mother, and father all die of rat poison.
Merry Christmas, Strychnine.
Oh man! All right, well let's do our broken bulb, brilliant bulb. One thing you want to fix, and then one thing you want to praise.
What do you want to do first, Jay?
I'll do my broken bulb. The one thing I will say, the one thing, it's a little confusing, and they do a good job of kind of wrapping it back up together. But kind of that weird moment where like Gabe passes out, and like you're unsure of who Ed's talking about because like we think, oh, he's working with the elves, but it turns out he's working with the Silent Knights, and they do a good job of wrapping that all back together. But it is a little confusing on your first watch. Like, you're kind of like, what are they talking about here? Like, how long was Gabe knocked out for? Has Ed been spying on Noelle for weeks? Did Noelle go, or did Ed go over, see that Noelle was cheating, and then come back? Like, that's a little weird for me.
Yeah. My broken bulb was not enough Clausferatu. I like that they kind of saved him for a reveal at the end, but I would have liked, maybe some more like Michael Myers style shots of maybe him like stalking Gabe and Noelle, or maybe even like they could have done something with like not showing him, but just have him talk and like intimidate Ed into like find me the source or something like that.
No, that one scene with the where like Clausferatu's walking through the hotel room is great. Like, yeah, I would have liked more stuff like that.
I would have liked more like intimidating build up for him, so when he appears at the end, it's like, oh shit, how are we ever going to defeat Clausferatu?
Yep. Instead, you get one kind of like hint of him, and then he just shows up.
Because I would say the main villain of the movie is more the BDSM elves. Until you get like to the very end.
Yeah, until you get to the big reveal. Brilliant bulb. One thing you want to praise?
Just the entire production team on this movie for like making such. Obviously, they were very dedicated to making this movie a success. But if I had to pick one thing in particular, I'd say the writing. I want to give the brilliant bulb to. It's just like the snappy dialogue, the interesting story that keeps you hooked into you're interested in it the entire time. And just the endless barrage of Christmas puns and references really gets me because, I love puns, Jay.
The thing we kind of, I'm going to say like pretty much the exact same thing. The thing we kind of like railed against Santa's sleigh for is that like some of the jokes, like once you've heard them, they're not funny anymore. Like, this movie has like a similar thing, but somehow I still laughed at all the jokes like the second time.
I think it's just because this one's so much more clever with the way they do it. It's just more blunt in Santa's sleigh, and honestly, they don't have as many good jokes in Santa's sleigh either. It's more like they reach for just all the like most low hanging fruit they can get. And they just like do barely surface level references to Christmas. This is like, you have to have some deep Christmas knowledge to get some of these jokes.
I would love a double feature of this in Santa's sleigh. I think that would be fantastic.
No, this is going to be one of my new favorites, I think, to watch every year.
No, but yeah, that was kind of my big thing where like Santa's sleigh, like once you've seen it, you're kind of like, oh, it's not your daddy's Christmas movie. Like this one, like, all the jokes are still funny the second time, third time. Like, we watched them within a week of like watching it the first time and then watch it again. The jokes are still funny. Yeah. Do that with Santa's sleigh and you're like, yeah, I know all the jokes. Like,
Yeah, Santa's sleigh it wears out. It's not a bad movie. I don't want to say that.
Right.
It wears out its welcome, I would say, and you can only rewatch it like every couple years and get the most out of it.
But this feels like it could be a yearly rewatch. Yes, it's that much fun.
I mean, it's fun from beginning to end. I think it's carried by the writing, but also it's carried by the acting, I would say. I mean, Noelle and Gabe especially do a lot to help carry the movie.
It's almost one of those you wonder if like they have some relationship in real life. Like the way they bicker and fight with each other feels real. To me very organic, very real.
Very real, very husband and wife.
So yeah, let's get into our final rating. Every episode of Horror for the Holidays, mainline episode.
Oh, Jay, don't make me do a final rating. I've lost my ear.
We rate these movies on 1 of 3 categories. Is it seasonally scary? Is it ho-ho-ho-hilarious? Or is it you'll be sorry? Jeff?
I mean, if you haven't figured it out already, it's ho-ho-ho-hilarious, Jay, and not on the so bad it's good end. I'm just saying it's so good it's good.
For the low budget, like.
Yes. I mean, they did an amazing job, I would say. I don't think that's the thing. You have to get past looking at like the trailer of the movie.
Damn it, Noble.
Noble's destroying the studio. Hold on, people. But no. Honestly, just watch the movie. Just give it a chance. Let it work, don't just like turn it off after 5 minutes because you're like, "Oh, this looks cheap. I'm not interested." It's like that's how you miss good movies.
Yep.
No, it's definitely on the high end of ho-ho-ho hilarious. It's very good. Like I said, the writing really carries it. I mean, there's good visual effects. The story's interesting enough. It's got a little bit of like a mystery and a twist, so you know that you can't completely predict what's going to happen. Yes, it's gonna feel. There is that jarring moment, like Jay was talking about, where Gabe gets knocked out, and then like the plot moves forward a little bit. But other than that, I'd say it flows very smoothly. It's just an enjoyable watch.
No, I'm the same. Ho ho ho, hilarious. A thing that I kind of wound up thinking to myself was I was like, this movie asks the question, why can't more of these like low budget turds we've seen be this fun?
Mm-hmm.
Because like this movie is an absolute blast.
Yes.
But like thinking back to Krampus the Christmas Devil
Mm-hmm.
or
Well, I mean, this is just as strange as Bloodbeat, but doesn't feel as off-putting as Bloodbeat.
I don't know what you're talking about. Bloodbeat is
I
great.
mean, people like Jay love Bloodbeat for some reason.
But like Nutcracker Massacre, like Barricade,
Yes.
like these movies that have like bigger budgets, but
feel less interesting.
Yeah, where
Santa Claus is another one I could name.
Yep. Where this one just is. I mean, yeah. How have so many people failed where this movie succeeded so gloriously?
Well, and I mean, now we can add a second person because Mike Lombardo proved you could make a great movie with a low budget in the Christmas horror genre, and now these people have proved it again.
These people put so much care into making this movie, and it really shows. Like, a lot of small little tricks to
Yes.
get the elf's head in the bag, to get like all these little things to happen. And I mean, I was kind of left with the thought, like, we gave White Doomsday a seasonally scary as a low budget masterpiece. This is the low budget masterpiece for Ho 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 Hilarious.
Indeed,
Like,
I would say yes. It's so much on the funny end of things that yes, I'd say it's probably the king of Ho 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 Hilarious.
yeah, I mean, it's gonna take some undoing to beat
yes.
how enjoyable this movie was. So let's go to our final segment where we take our villain and put them on the naughty list. Villains? I don't know. Where do you want to put Clausferatu and
Well,
maybe the vampire
I was
elves?
gonna say his army of elves does elevate his power level some. I would say
I was thinking below rare exports, Santa.
I don't know. Do you think the BDSM elves could beat the naked old men?
No. I mean, that's the thing. We don't know rare export Santa's like the full limit of his power.
Well, I was gonna say we really don't know anything about Rare Export Santa because he never does anything.
Right.
Only his elves. I mean, and his elves are defeated by 3 reindeer hunters and some kids.
I mean, these elves get defeated by a guy who writes for a newspaper and his wife.
Well, I mean, they defeat them though. They subdue the group. They kill the Silent Knights and they subdue the group.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's pretty tough.
I mean, they defeated the Vatican-sanctioned assassins, Jay.
True, you're right. I don't know. Yeah, let's put them above rare exports.
I'm
Why
thinking
not?
they're above Rare Exports because we also know that the Clausferatu Santa can act. We know that he can do things. He's
Yeah.
not just frozen in a giant block of ice.
Yeah, rare export Santa does just spend the entire film trapped in that giant block of ice. Why not? Fuck it.
Yep, we're doing it, folks. He's stronger than Rare Export Santa.
All right, well, Jeff, it's time to shit, I don't know what I was gonna say. It's the day after Valentine's Day, so that means I went and bought a bunch of cheap candy in a segment we like to call.
Are you saying it's Garbin time, Jay?
Garbage Day! Huh? No!
It's Garbin time.
Garbin time.
And then he garbed all over the place.
All right, we got some cheap Valentine's Day candy to try.
Oh no.
Kit Kat raspberry cream,
Oh no.
M&M strawberry shake,
Oh no.
and then I got a bag of both pink Reese's peanut butter hearts and regular Reese's peanut butter hearts, and we're gonna see if they taste different.
Yeah, we are. We're definitely gonna see. Because Jay Logsdon hates me. And he's like, let's buy a bunch of garbage for Jeff to try.
It's Garbin time. Already, I can say, Jeff, you opened this bag of the raspberry cream Kit Kats. They smell amazing. They smell so good.
Yeah, they do smell pretty
I just
good.
got like a huge whiff of it, like when you handed the bag over to me.
These also smell pretty good.
They smell like peanut butter.
That smells pretty good.
Yeah. All right, one of those, one of these.
We'll have to do the comparison.
All right, Jeff's opening up his regular Reese's. Now he's opening up his pink
the
Reese's.
Pink one, yep. All right, same shape. Exact same shape, eerily. Same consistency. Just different colors so far. We'll see about the taste.
Like, I wonder if the pink's gonna make it taste worse, if it's gonna make it taste better, or if it's gonna taste exactly the same.
Here we go. Pink first.
Oh, he's thinking about it.
Tastes like a peanut butter cup.
Okay.
It's the exact same thing.
Oh man, all right. Well, there it's settled. But here, get a whiff of these M&M strawberry shakes.
Smells like strawberry shake.
Yeah, those smell delicious as well. I'm gonna open up this Kit Kat raspberry cream.
Let's see. I will also try the Kit Kat.
Noble will not be trying the Kit Kat.
Noble gets nothing because he's a bad boy.
That's delightful.
Yep, I like it.
The for years, like, we've only had the chocolate Kit Kats, and it isn't until recently that we've started getting kind of unique flavors. But they've been doing that in Japan for years. And I'm glad we're finally getting kind of different flavored Kit Kats, because these are great. Those Witch's Brew Kit Kats are great. The Marshmallow Mummy Kit Kats, the gingerbread Kit Kats.
I never understand why they limit these things to other countries when it's like America is the country of fatness. Any food is going to do well here. I mean, the peanut butter cups are peanut butter cups. They're always good for what they are. I like the unique flavor of the Kit Kat and the crispiness of the Kit Kat with that flavor. It works well.
All right, gonna try an M&M here. Let's give it a shot.
Let's do it.
Honestly, I'm getting more white chocolate flavor than I am strawberry flavor.
I'm getting a little strawberry as you chew it more.
But it's not great, at least for me. I mean,
I would say it's middle of the road. As far as M&M flavors go, it's not wowing me like the M&Ms we tried for Christmas, like the s'mores ones or the other ones, the toasted vanilla ones. But it's okay.
No, they're just, I don't know. I find these a little disappointing, but I'm also not a huge white chocolate guy, and that's usually, if I see something's white chocolate, I go like,
Well, Jay, you'll find that I'm a huge guy in general, and I like white chocolate.
No, the two Reese's Hearts taste exactly the same.
Eerily the same.
I know, it's like, should they be pink the whole time?
It's unnatural, Jay. It's almost like Clausferatu has cursed us.
So, I don't know, do we want to kind of rank this stuff?
Yeah, we might as well.
I mean, there's
M&M,
three-ish things.
M&M's bottom of the pack.
Yep. Reese's middle of the pack.
Pink Reese's middle of the pack. Regular Reese's above the pink. I don't know why. It's my feeling in my heart. And top is the Kit Kat.
Yeah, those raspberry cream Kit Kats are. Oh, the lemon Kit Kats we had last year were really good too.
Yes,
like,
they were.
No, these Kit Kat, keep doing it. Keep putting out weird flavored Kit Kats. They're fantastic.
I agree.
Also, my favorite thing about Kit Kat, I don't know if I've said this before, is that when like a bad Kit Kat comes off the line, like misshapen or whatever, you wind up with like a weird cut or whatever. If they catch it before it gets packaged, they just take it and put it back in the vat of the Kit Kat, like stuff. And so like Kit Kats are made from bad Kit Kats.
I like this. Reduce, reuse, recycle.
Yeah, very and in a weird way, a little like eco-friendly, even though I'm sure if we looked into Kit Kat's ownership, it would not be eco-friendly.
Don't look into that, Jay. Don't look how these cocoa beans are farmed.
I was just going to look to see if this was a Hershey's product. And then be like, oh no, oh, it is a Hershey's product.
I was going to say, it'd be worse if it was a Nestle product. They run those slave cocoa farms in Africa.
Yeah, and like, say people don't deserve water as a human right.
Yep. Oh, yeah, they do that in India, too.
Oh, geez. All right.
I mean, nothing, Jay.
No,
consume more food, Jay. This is America.
Consume more food for Garbin time.
It's Garbin time.
If you want to contribute to our Garbage Day segment, send us an email, horrorfortheholidays@gmail.com. Get in touch with us on social media. TikTok, Blue Sky, Threads, Twitter, now known as X. Will be known as Twitter again soon, maybe.
Or just go away, which would also be fun.
Yeah, I'd be okay if it went away. Instagram, the Q app, which decides our movies. We're all those places.
Where we go one, we go all.
At horror, the number 4 holidays. No, Jeff, bad.
Bad.
Naughty.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just following the lead from RFK Jr.
Punish.
Check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/horrorfortheholidays. Like us, notify us with the bell, subscribe to us.
Yeah, we've been getting a couple more subscribers there. I don't know how our total numbers look, but we had a pretty high record number for Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, and then apparently no one watches the Stocking Stuffers episodes. So
No, some people watch them, just not this one, Jay. Apparently nobody cares about Silent Night, Deadly Night comics.
yeah, but if you do want us to talk about comics again, let us know. Or if you don't want us to talk about comics again, continue to give that Stocking Stuffer no views.
Indeed. Well, it's not the whole picture on YouTube because we also get downloads on the platforms and stuff. But,
Yeah.
I mean, it's usually a decent indicator of interest how many YouTube views we get.
Yeah. But yeah, subscribe on your podcatcher of choice. Leave us a 5-star review, especially if we do a bad job. Leave us a 5-star review. But that helps get the word out. That helps spread the word about the podcast. But also, most importantly, tell a friend. If you know someone who likes Christmas horror movies or horror movies in general, and you think they might enjoy our poor attempts at comedy, tell them to check out this podcast. It'd make us happy, and your friend might enjoy it too.
Find Mike Lombardo's social media and barrage him to watch Two Front Teeth.
Yeah, tell him. I think he's at Real Splatter on X. Give him tell him he needs to watch Two Front Teeth. Don't tell him you're associated with us in any way.
We didn't send you.
Yeah, we did not send you. But yeah, other than that, thanks for listening. We really appreciate it. We love hearing from people, and it fills my heart with Christmas joy when I see our episodes getting views and shit.
Oh, also a little shout out to Mike. Did you see the finished restoration on that statue?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That was pretty awesome.
He's been doing something for somewhere in Pennsylvania, like a horror bookstore,
comic and bookshop. Yeah,
and he's been restoring a satyr.
Yeah, it's like it's like Krampus-esque, like a Christmas satyr with a bell. This kind of statue, but it looks really nice. It looks like real stone, even though I know it's like that PVC foam stuff.
Yeah, it had been all torn apart, and basically Mike's been fixing it. Looks great.
Yep. Bravo to Mike. Bravo to us. Keep growing the channel. Everybody keep listening. Listen to me chew into the microphone.
And listeners, bravo to you. Also, bravo to Matt Dupay for working on that Critters book.
Yes.
But yeah, keep on keeping on. You guys can do it. Thanks for listening.
Goodbye.